There's one rule to live by. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. The Dallas Mavericks were on the brink of something special.
The Western Conference champions are the Dallas Mavericks. They're going to the NBA Finals.
They drafted their superstar, found him the perfect co-star, and built an entire supporting cast. They were just 3 wins away from the ultimate prize. They weren't just knocking on the door of a championship, they were about to kick it down.
Doncic gets inside, layup's good, and another foul. 20 points already for Doncic.
6 months later, however, everything collapsed.
Back to our breaking news here on SportsCenter. Massive trade happening in the NBA right now. The Dallas Mavericks are trading Luka Doncic.
One front office betrayal, one catastrophic scam, and one organization in ruins. Nico Harrison and the Mavericks' new owner didn't just make a mistake. They waged war on their own franchise. And as someone who's watched the NBA closely for 20 years, I've never seen anything like this.
Bro, how? Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. How is this even legal, dog?
This is a list of the top 10 greatest individual performances in NBA history, ranked by an advanced metric that measures pure dominance. At number 1, we have Michael Jordan's legendary 69-point game. At number 3, Kobe Bryant's iconic 81-point masterpiece. The standard to make this list is insanely high. Not even LeBron James, with everything he's accomplished, has ever cracked it. There is one player, however, who has not only made the list, but done it twice.
Here's the step back for a new Maverick record!
Very few players become a perennial All-NBA first-team selection in just their second year. Even fewer lead their team to the NBA Finals before turning 25. That's the kind of once-in-a-generation talent Luka Doncic is. But in Dallas, he was more than just a superstar. He was family.
You know, our relationship with him goes beyond basketball.
Owner Sam Romano said Luka simply became a part of this place.
Luka gave the city hope, inspiration, and a reason to believe. Then, on February 1st, on a calm Saturday evening, Shams dropped a tweet so unthinkable that fans thought his account had been hacked.
When we first seen it, we was on the plane right after our game, about to come back, and we seen it. We thought Shams got hacked or it was a fake account.
Weddings stopped, social media exploded. Even NBA players couldn't believe what they were seeing. Luka Doncic was gone.
We're just receiving word of a massive trade in the NBA. The Lakers have traded Anthony Davis to the Dallas Mavericks in exchange for Luka Doncic.
What?
This trade was outrageous. There was no logic or justification behind it. Even the most hardcore NBA fans couldn't make sense of it.
The most shocking, stunning, insane trade in NBA history happens, and it makes absolutely no sense for so many different reasons. We'll talk about.
This trade was such a disaster, it completely overshadowed Israel Adesanya's knockout on the very same night. You don't just trade a player like Luka Doncic in his prime. You don't just rip away a generational talent from a city that worshipped him. And as we all would expect, the backlash was immediate.
Why would the Mavs do this? There's just no way. Why would the Mavs do this? Wait, it's on the ESPN website.
Protests erupted outside the arena. Season ticket holders canceled in droves. Feeling betrayed, fans didn't just walk away. They unsubscribed, unfollowed, and cut all ties with the organization.
This is absolutely the worst thing in Dallas Mavericks history.
In 20 years, as an NBA superfan, I've never seen a franchise meltdown like this. Not even the best PR team in the world could put out this fire. I mean, the Mavericks themselves tried, but failed miserably. First, they held a press conference. No one bought it. Then the owner stepped forward, trying to justify the trade, but his explanation only made things worse. Even ESPN and the NBA media stepped in to contain the outrage, but nothing worked. The fans had one demand: fire Nico Harrison.
Fire Nico! Fire Nico!
After this incident, he won't just be remembered as a bad GM. He'll be remembered as the worst GM in NBA history. Anthony Davis, the player Dallas traded Luka for, is no scrub. Like Luka, he's one of the most talented players in the NBA when he's healthy. And that's the problem.
Tonight, lobbing to AD at the spin.
If there's one thing that has haunted Anthony Davis throughout his career, it's injuries. Now past 30, his body isn't bouncing back like it used to, and it's only getting worse. I mean, right before the trade, he went down again. Then, in his very first game with the Mavericks, he got hurt. Again.
Davis. Anthony Davis went down to get hit in the midsection.
So, what exactly are Mavs fans supposed to look forward to now? Kyrie Irving? Sure, but remember, he's injury prone too. If they expect him to play 30 to 45 minutes a night, they'll run their only other star into the ground. And here's where things get really interesting. Kyrie has a player option next season, meaning he could walk the second the season ends. And just recently, he changed his profile colors to Lakers colors. I mean, he came to Dallas for Luka, and now that Luka's gone, and after the way they did his friend dirty, why would he stick around?
And just, we're loyal to each other's families now, man. We had a lot of sacred conversations that went beyond the court and just helping each other as men.
And man, it's not just Kyrie. Imagine being one of those guys who came to Dallas thinking they were joining something special. But honestly, it's even worse for the fans. Like, what's there to cheer for? The firing of Nico Harrison? Oh, right. You can't even talk about that because if you speak out, they'll kick you out. The American Airlines Center is losing its soul. It's starting to feel less like a basketball arena and more like something straight out of 1984. There was only one real explanation for this trade. It had nothing to do with basketball and everything to do with the new ownership's ties to the gambling industry.
Obviously, it's something that ownership okayed, if not enforced, to be quite honest with you.
Everyone saw it for what it was, a setup to move the team to Las Vegas. The backlash was so overwhelming that the owner had to come out and publicly deny the accusations.
Dallas Mavericks are not moving to Las Vegas.
Sure, Dumont said that, but let's be real. NBA owners lie all the time. In 2017, for example, the Clippers literally held a ceremony, raised a fake jersey to the rafters, and promised Blake Griffin he'd be a Clipper for life, only to trade him to Detroit 6 months later. In 2018, the Raptors personally reassured DeMar DeRozan he was safe, only to send him packing for Kawhi Leonard days later. This is what NBA owners do. They say one thing and do the complete opposite. So when Patrick Dumont, the Mavericks owner, tried to shut down the rumors, I couldn't help but laugh. I can't help but wonder, what's next for Nico Harrison? He's taking all the heat for this trade, and honestly, based on the backlash and the way fans are reacting, he might not be safe walking the streets of Dallas anymore.
I'm very, very worried for Nico Harrison.
At this point, Nico might as well pack his bags and move to LA. That's probably the only place he's welcome right now. I mean, everywhere else he goes, he'll be hated as the guy who traded Luka Doncic.
We want Luka! We want Luka!
Nico isn't on any federal or state watch lists, but this is about as close as you can get to being on America's Most Wanted without actually committing a crime. Well, a real crime. Because in the world of basketball, this was a felony.
That you don't trade a 25-year-old MVP candidate in his prime for a 32-year-old made of glass?
I'd be shocked if Nico lasts much longer in the Mavericks front office. So now, the big question is, what's next for him? I guess that's a story waiting to be told. And when that time comes, you already know, I'll make a video about it titled, The Story of the Man Who Traded Luka. The truth is, you don't just replace a generational talent like Luka. Even if you somehow luck into another superstar, there's no guarantee they'll live up to the hype. I mean, look at Ben Simmons. Supposed to be the next LeBron. Now, a role player at best. Look at Zion Williamson. People thought he'd dominate like Shaq. Now, more famous for his diet than his game. Even if the Mavs somehow land another big-time player, what superstar in the right mind would trust this franchise?
Good or bad? Neither. Good or bad? That's real? That's real.
What message did Dallas send with this trade? To the fans? That basketball isn't the priority, that loyalty means nothing. To future stars? That even a generational talent can be tossed aside for profit. What real superstar would ever want to play here after this?
Insane, it's crazy. Yeah, I would have never thought Luka Doncic get traded at this age,
The Mavericks didn't just lose Luka. They torched their reputation, their fan base, and their future. At this point, the only real bounce back? Maybe in another 10 years. Another 10 years. Whether you're an NBA fan or not, basketball is more than just a game. It's part of culture. It keeps kids off streets, keeps students in school, and gives adults something to rally around after a long week. For cities, having a team to cheer for isn't just entertainment. It's community, identity, and $1 billion economy. And beyond the passion, it's business. Restaurants thrive, merchandise sells, jobs are created, the entire city prospers. Dallas had all of that until one scam trade shattered everything.
I feel like we raised him, he raised us almost in a way, and so I'm personally devastated.
This isn't just a betrayal. It's likely the death of Mavericks basketball as we know it. It's not just GMs betraying the league. Players are too. Some of the things they're doing? They're straight up hurting the NBA. They're playing a dangerous game, pushing the limits of what they can get away with, and the league is watching. If you're wondering what's really going on, click this video right here. I break it all down.